Shalom, family. Hope everybody is doing well. And we'll see how many people are here, and we will get started very shortly. I'm glad to see all of you. You know, it's always good to see my subscribers. Oh, and those little Hebrews that thought they were going to come here and argue me down. One of them came back to call me an agent, and I just laughed. I mean, what is that supposed to do, really? Seriously, calling somebody an agent because they don't agree with you? So it's laughable. I mean, according to people out here, half of Black YouTube are agents. I've been hearing that agent stuff since I've been on YouTube. And at the end of the day, what is that supposed to mean? Okay, you can't label me like that. You don't have that ability. So what is that supposed to mean at the end? Does that mean all my subscribers leave and this is it? That's the end because you said that? Come on. You don't have that kind of authority over anybody. But it's just amazing when a person don't have the ability to argue their point. So they come back and do stuff like that. But, I'm not even concerned. I mean, if you were really good at what you claim, you would have been able to argue me down and argue your point and be right at that moment, and you couldn't do it. So that just looks like some butt sore stuff to me. Much to do about nothing. Okay, and what do I want to be an agent for? What's the benefit? Am I going to get paid? I'm not getting paid. I wouldn't do the shit for free. Okay, I'm not going to. And number two, I'm not a damn sellout. If you get sold out, you can best believe I would not be the one selling you out. You can count on that. Some of these other people out here talking shit on other Black people all the time, those are the ones that'll sell your butt out without even giving it a second thought. But me, I ain't selling out for no damn body. Okay. Well, let's see here. Now, this one is actually pretty good, and it's nothing shocking. Black people are tired. We are tired of being harassed. We're tired of cops coming up and randomly telling us we look like a suspect, being followed around in the stores, always accused of things that we don't do. People are tired. We've been dealing with this shit for a very, very long time. And it just wears you out after a while. Thank you, Angel, for the super sticker. Thank you, John L, for the super chat. It just wears you out after a while. I don't blame many of our folks for turning to online shopping. Number one, you got the conveniency of things being delivered to your door without a cop, without some stupid store employee standing there accusing you of stuff, minus the manager at the store that saw you take something from the shelf. You stared at, we heard it all. Why did you call the police? They stared at me. This Black man stared at me. We done heard it all, y'all. We have. And after a while, you gotta draw the line and start taking control over your well-being for yourself, because these folks never have and never will have our best interests at heart. So, hey, if the consequences is, look, we shop online and these brick and mortar stores now suffer because none of them will step up to the plate and say, look, leave our Black customers alone. Leave them alone. If they're not doing anything, not committing a crime, they're just in here shopping, leave our Black customers alone. They won't even step up and say that. Okay, and you're spending all of your hard-earned money at these brick and mortar stores, and even the owners of the stores don't even have enough backbone to defend their Black customers. That says it all right there. They should have been said something by now to these cops, employees, and even some of these customers that are in the store just randomly picking on someone Black that's doing nothing but in their shopping. They won't do nothing. Nobody got our back. other than ourselves. And that is the truth. And after a while, I don't blame Black people for looking at the situation and saying, I ain't going back in no more damn stores. Whatever I can buy, if I can get it online, that's what I'm going to do. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I know there's a delay when you hit the 1. Okay. All right, so this is The Guardian, y'all. And this is based on a recent survey that was done. So this is The Guardian. Racial profiling leads minorities to shop online rather than in stores. I don't blame them, you know. And this is a Sephora survey that was recently, done. In-store shoppers also adapt behavior to avoid false accusation because the majority of the accusations they make against Black people in retail are false. And accusations of shoplifting, a study French beauty company Sephora reveals. So shoppers from, primarily the Black community are more likely to shop online than go into a store in order to avoid racial profiling, according to a new report. A study from the French beauty company Sephora found that in order to avoid incidents such as being falsely accused of shoplifting, Black shoppers avoid touching product samples, make a point of chatting to sales associates, make sure they are well dressed, all in order to lessen the possibility of being racially profiled while shopping, shopping while Black, right? As soon as we walk in the store now, all of a sudden the police need to be alerted. Yeah, we get sick of that shit. Last summer, fashion brands were called out for allegedly for their hypocrisy, for making public statements of support for the Black Lives Matter movement while casual racism remained common on sale floors. So what these retailers were doing, they were showing, after George Floyd's death, they were showing all kinds of support for Black Lives Matter, right? But at the same time, they were still behind the scenes making false accusations against Black shoppers in the store, accusing you of taking something from the shelf, accusing you of trying to walk out the store with something you didn't pay for, accusing you of looking suspicious in the store, that kind of stuff. So they were being very hypocritical. Staff at one chain, Anthropology, allegedly use a code name Nick. Nick was to identify Black customers. Nick. Okay. Such reports led the company to say it was deeply saddened and disturbed by reports of racial profiling in our stores. Yeah, but your employees did this, so you have to take the full responsibility. So that's a nickname for Black shoppers, Nick. These people are unbelievable. So they said they're deeply saddened and disturbed by reports of racial profiling in our stores and apologize profusely for unequivocally to any customer who was made to feel unwelcome, which is virtually all of us. In June, as the protests spread after the killing of George Floyd by police officers in Minneapolis, Aurora James, founder of shoes and accessory brand Brother Vellies, suggested major retailers give 15% of shelf space to Black-owned businesses, a figure representing the U.S. Black population. Sephora was one of the most high-profile companies to commit to pledge the 15%. In June 2019, the singer SZA claimed to have been racially profiled in a Sephora store in Calabasas, California. the chain closed for diversity training, which does absolutely no good. You know, we can't train no racism out of no damn body, please. An employee, singer Sandy, called security to make sure I wasn't stealing, SZA wrote. The store replied saying that it was actively working with our teams to address the situation immediately. And that, you know, and she's a celebrity, and look at how they treated her. When it comes down to us, it really don't matter. You can be an athlete, you can be a rapper, you can be just an ordinary a person with a 9 to 5 job, and you get treated the same way. It doesn't matter. The new Sephora study said a lack of top-down systemic diversity affected minority customers' shopping experience. Yeah, I would say so. And, you know, and a lot of times your employees get away with that because they got managers over them that will allow that kind of stuff. And they feel the same way that they feel about people in the Black community. The report also noted that Black shoppers felt their shopping experience was informed by reactions to their skin tone and ethnicity, while shoppers who had a negative experience based on skin color would be unlikely to report it. 3 in 5 minority customers said they would be unlikely to return to a shop where they experience discrimination. Now, you know, we don't call ourselves minority, but, you know, this is what the article says. Sephora has issued a series of pledges, including doubling the amount of Black-owned brands it will stock, a zero tolerance policy on discrimination, and a new company-wide greeting system focused on attempting to create shared experience for all customers, irrespective to race. Sephora, diversity, equality, and inclusion have been our core values since we launched a new kind of beauty retail destination in the US for over 20 years. And yeah, you claim all this diversity, inclusion, and you don't discriminate. And yet discrimination has gone nonstop in America. It has never ended. But the reality is the shoppers at Sephora and the US retail more broadly was not always treated fairly and consistently. That is very true. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It's all about that dollar. And see, the brick and mortar stores are now seeing they stand to lose without that black dollar. That's the only reason why you see something like this coming out now. They know they're losing. They're losing that customer, and they lose that money. You know, no matter how much we are hated, disliked, looked upon, that black dollar is still what they want. It's the same dollar that people they favor are spending in the stores. So they still want that dollar. That's why you're seeing something like that being written. You know, people are still going out there. They have to work and have to get things done in their life. Despite the fact that there's a pandemic, you still got to live. And in some instances, you can't get everything done from your house. And in those instances, you're going to have to venture out. So the more rotten they treat us, the more less they're going to see us in their retail stores buying, you know. And just from the beginning of the pandemic all the way to now, I know even my relatives, they try to go out as little as possible. They're more inclined to look after their health and safety first before worrying about going into retailers, chances are, that are not even Black owned, and you're spending your dollar there just to be treated like crap. You know, a lot of people are now fed up, and they're not willing to deal with that anymore. If they can have something delivered to their door, that's what they'll do. So at the end of the day, you're screwing us over, but you're also screwing yourself out of money when you treat your Black customers like that in the store. Yeah, Gabriella, that's one thing. I wish there were more Black businesses around me. Unfortunately, they're not. You know, Most of the retailers around here are primarily white. We have, of course, the Arab and East Indian stores, and you got the Asians with their stores and their restaurants and stuff, but very few retailers that are black. And and that's a really unfortunate thing. I wish I could find a lot more. Now, one thing I did find some coffee shops, quite a few actually. A lot of black people are in the coffee business around me. And you can find a lot of, especially husband wife teams that have teamed up together, and they got a coffee shop, or even father and son. There's a black father and son, and they run a coffee shop. And that's really relatively cheap to get set up. You can get a coffee shop set up for about 20 grand if you are able to come up with the money and run that yourself. Now that I can find, but and there, of course, there are black restaurants. But as far as a lot of black retailers, there are not a lot around me. And the sad part is, where I am is predominantly black, but not a lot of black retailers. And that is a really unfortunate thing. But, it's not entirely our fault. Even with good credit, these banks don't want to loan you anything for business. So we have pretty much been shut out heavily in, all kinds of industries. You saw what they did with marijuana. They just squeezed us out altogether and just priced us out by making everything completely unaffordable. But there are still opportunities online that black people can take advantage of. We can do that as long as you have a good supplier, or you're able to make the products yourself. Then yes, then there's a possibility you can just run it from your house and make some good money. So, hey, at the end of the day, who are they really hurting? They're hurting themselves. And like I said, retailers can speak up when these things happen. And that's one thing we never said, in the past, when we're getting harassed by police or other customers or even store employees, these retailers need to speak up on the behalf of their black customers, or otherwise they should lose their black customers. They don't say enough. These little cookie cutter statements about we uphold diversity. No, you don't. Because if you really upheld diversity, you wouldn't have those kind of employees in there. Okay, a bunch of races working for you. No, you don't uphold it. You just say these things when you get caught. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I wanted to show you. It's interesting, the things that are happening today. And now we can look at the media, and they're using domestic terrorists, white supremacists, white extremists. Boy, when were we going to ever see that happen? We're seeing that a lot now. We didn't see that before. So tomorrow is the inauguration. Let's see if anything jumps off, or it'll be just a quiet affair. I did see all the moving trucks taking Trump stuff down to Florida, but we'll see what kind of transition it really will be. It definitely will be interesting. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your evening, and just look out for my upcoming videos that, a few of them will be published after midnight. And just put your comments in like you always do. I love reading y'all comments, and I do read through them. I do. So everybody, peace, family.